Hey, listen up. We got another episode of Wise Kracks, featuring the crack man himself, Bill Krackomberger, and our co-host, John Orlando, straight from Las Vegas. Wise Kracks is your ticket inside the world of sports betting, with tips, picks, special guests, and more. Only on WSN.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wise Kracks. I am in Omaha, Nebraska at Charles Schwab Stadium where the College World Series takes place. Bill, what do you think about that?
Everyone thinks it's a green screen, John. Are you sure you're really there?
I swear I am. I don't know. There was a dog.
I see someone on third base there. Okay,
there should be some grounds crew people out there right now. So,
So when is that, John? When are they going to play? That
starts next week. Yeah, it starts next week. I drove down here with my buddy Matt Kelly. Shout out to Matt Kelly for making this all happen today. He's actually watching right on the other side of this laptop right now. But
shout out
he's a cameraman
for making it there, for driving 18, 19 straight hours. Wow.
19 straight hours he drove like a savage, which is incredible. And I stayed awake the entire time, which that in itself is headline news, Crack. I fall asleep in the first 2 minutes of a car ride.
Wow. Well, you kept them up. I don't know. I smell something. I smell something going on there. There has to be some other thing you went. There was a kind of a deal at a casino.
No.
Or there's
nothing.
There's nothing else
on my
going
life,
on.
I swear to you. He told me he needed to make the drive, and he's from here originally. He lives in Vegas now, and he needed to bring some stuff in his truck. A bunch of boxes out here.
You don't have to say no more. I know what's going on now. Forget it. All right.
All right. So we've got a big show. We've got Minty Bets is on today from Yahoo Sportsbook and MSG Networks. She'll be on a little later in the show. But before we get to all that, let's talk about some things, Bill. There's a big shakeup. I don't know if it's a shakeup, but big news in the golf world. It's a shakeup, right?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
What
I just
is
read
going
another
on?
article on it. Well, there's a tour. The Saudis started this tour, and Mickelson is the big guy that he had some comments to say, and he had to apologize for them. Just some BS, to be honest with you. And then he and now he's joining this tour. They're guaranteeing him $200 million, guaranteeing Justin Johnson. Dustin's getting $100 million, I believe. These are giant numbers being thrown around by the Saudis, who have that kind of giant money to do this as a hobby, really, like these sheiks that own horses and own things just for hobbies. I mean, they have so much money that it doesn't mean anything to them. The PGA Tour is very upset about it. And some of the people now are going over, DeChambeau, Patrick Reed, they're going over to this tour. The reason why last place on the PGA Tour gets you nothing. If you don't make the cut, you get zero. Last place on this tour gets you like $100,000, $120,000. So this is a matter of money. And even though there's some maybe human rights issues or in general, some other issues, that it's a lot of media stuff, but bottom line, it's all about the bucks. So I guess I don't understand why the PGA Tour is not allowing the players to come back and, choose which one they want to play for that week. It's kind of weird. They're allowed to play in the majors, though, I guess, but not in these. I mean, listen, the PGA Tour is going nowhere. They have the majors. They have the Masters, the PGA. These are giant tournaments, and the PGA makes a ton of money off golf. Tiger really raised that bar for the players' purses and for golf in general in the last 25 years. So they're making a ton of money, but this is a big controversy, and it's about the money. These guys are going for money. So,
but these guys have deep pockets, Bill. You don't give it any. There's no chance that they're going to overshadow the PGA and maybe really put a dent in it, or no.
I don't think so. No,
the brand is too strong. There's going to be 5 years.
5 guys on the tour on this particular, let's call it the Saudi tour. There's going to be 5 guys there, and the rest of the people you're really not going to know. And so it's maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure there'll be more guys jumping over from the PGA Tour. So it's a big shakeup and it's big news, but it's not really putting any money in my pocket right now. So hopefully there's going to be odds and situations that we can actually do some research and come up with some some good plays for this if that's even going to be a lined event in the sports books here.
Okay, moving on. Another big headline this week: the Denver Broncos have been purchased for $4.5 billion.
Yeah, just to put that in perspective, I think I was reading on Twitter just 5 years ago, the Carolina Panthers were sold for like $2 billion. So this is how much money is in the NFL now here 5 years later. And, don't let anyone kid you. A lot of this is, it's TV rights money, but also gambling is now legal in, more than half the country. So there's a lot of different people involved in making money now in this NFL league. And the NFL gets a lot of, these team owners get a lot of different incentives and stuff to, be a team owner. So there's a lot of money in this. It's amazing that kind of money is being thrown around on teams. I don't know how Elway and company's thinking about this or what they're doing, but it's interesting. It's an interesting thing how much money these franchises are now worth.
Yeah, I hear you. So I'm just adjusting my light here. Okay, the next topic is one that we've talked about before. This guy is relentless with the gambling. Drake making more gambling news.
Yeah, Drake, I put up a tweet. One of my most successful tweets, actually, the last 2 months was me just putting up a video of Drake playing roulette at the area, literally betting $200,000 a spin on roulette. It seems like now he's putting up on his socials him at home playing virtual roulette for real money with one of the offshore sites. And some of the spins, he wins like $1 million here and there. Well, I think it's a bad example for kids. I really do. They're all screaming and yelling. All his, all his entourage in the background screaming and yelling. And it's, I guess it's fun for them, of course. And I'm sure he throws around some of the money to the other boys. But I don't know. I'm an old school guy. You guys know me. I like to set good examples for future generations. And I don't know if that's setting the best example, playing a virtual casino. I'm not one. I'm cynical. I don't play these virtual casinos, especially ones that are, not even really regulated and down in the islands or whatever. I just can't. It's hard for me to believe that I'm going to get the right payout and the things that are going to be legit. I won't even play the online casinos for the legal sports books that are here in the States unless there's a deal or something, because it just, I don't know. It's that when you see the online, you're playing against something in cyberspace or wherever it may be. I want the randomness. I want the, I'll play something if they have live dealers now, and even the offshore sites have live dealers now. But I want to know that all 52 cards are in the deck too, because I'll tell you, if you just take the tens out of a deck, a couple tens out of a deck of blackjack, there's no way the customer is winning. There's just no way. So there's so many things that could be done. You take 4 of the tens out of a deck of 52 cards, the advantage jumps up tremendously for the house. So
right, and you would never know because of you would never know because of when they shuffle. You have no way of knowing because you never get to see all the cards anyway.
The ones that are in the States here, though, they do have gaming laws where they have to turn the decks over and spread them to show at the beginning. When you're in the casino, I'm sure the same thing happens with the sites that have them here. Some of the sites offer live dealer, and I do trust that because you're playing with a gaming regulated dealer. But again, I'm still not playing. It's a negative EV game. I'm not playing unless I'm getting a deal, unless I'm getting a promo, unless I'm getting something that I know I can turn the odds around on the house and have odds. And I have to quit after that promo's over. It's the biggest thing, hardest thing for a gambler to do is quit when you have money left. So if you're going to play a promotion and you have to roll over your money so many times, let's say you have to roll over $1,000. When you get to that $1,000, you have to quit because after that 1,000, you're not getting anything back for your money. So you could be losing. It doesn't matter. The odds can go against you. You can lose even with your bonus money. And it's so hard for someone to say, wow, I just took advantage of this promo and I lost $100. No way. Let me just bet 100 to get even. And then next thing you know, you lose that 100 and then it's off to the races, back to financing it, pulling out your ATM cards and, your Visas, your MasterCards, whatever they take. And it's just better off staying out of the online casino. I'll just tell you right now. That's it.
Yeah. There it is, wisdom from the crack man. All right, Bill, let's talk about the UFC. There is a huge card this weekend. They are in Singapore this weekend, I believe for the first time. There's a huge rematch. I was actually at the first fight. Joanna Jędrzejczyk is fighting Weili Zhang. This was one of the best fights of all time, not just a girl fight, I mean of all time. It was a back and forth war the first time these two fought, and Joanna won a decision. She is the underdog going into the rematch, which is kind of surprising to me. I think she's like plus 142 as we tape this show. I think Travis might even have a photo from the first time these two fought. Joanna is going to look like the loser, but believe it or not, she won that fight, Bill.
Wow. Yeah, she looks like it looks like something out of a scary movie. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, good for her. Good for her. And now, and where is this? Where is this at, John? Are we in Vegas? This fight?
No, I believe they're in Singapore. They're in Singapore, I think, for the first time. Yeah. It's a big card. Cool. UFC is just still continues to go to new places and make the sport even bigger. So it's really exciting weekend for the UFC. And then also Taila Santos is fighting Valentina Shevchenko. This is another one of those fights. Shevchenko, if you remember back in the day when Ronda Rousey won every time she fought, and it got to the point where everyone was like, she's never going to lose. And of course, sooner or later, everybody loses. Bill, I'm not saying this is going to be that kind of weekend for Valentina, but her opponent, looking over, is plus 450. So I know you like a dog,
Yeah,
versus,
but I've learned a lot of things in boxing and these, it just seems like to me, now I'm not betting this, but it just seems like I know what I did against, well, then again, we're talking about a champion like Floyd. I was always taking, not always, but I always would have search for the best line against Floyd and a lot of these fights. And, when I'm seeing like plus 4-1 with the offshore sites, and I could take plus 5-1 here in town, I was trying to take advantage of that. And I always got my head handed to me just on those type of bets. So a lot of these favorites get there, but I'm not going to lay 6-1, 7-1 on something like UFC where there's so many different things that can happen during a fight. Just like you're showing that bloody picture of her, who knows what could have happened there. And, it's kind of interesting here.
All right, guys, we've got a great guest today here on the show on Wise Kracks. She is a betting analyst for Yahoo Sportsbook and MSG. We've got Minty Bets joining us today. And what an appropriate last name for our show, huh, Crack?
Yeah. How you doing, Minty?
I'm doing well, and spoiler, it's not my actual last name, but that's a separate conversation for private. There's obvious reasons why Betts is my stage last name.
I like it. It works. It works.
Thanks.
Cool. So, Minty, you've come a long way in this business. Congratulations. Thinking about when in the beginning, remember, I was first asked to come down and help you and talk about some terminology and stuff, and you were already a sports bettor, though. You were already betting sports, so you knew that. Now to see what you're doing with Yahoo Sportsbook and MSG Network, but better yet, even the MLB Network. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, I go on the MLB Network from time to time.
If you ever get to talk to Brian Kenny, there, I'm friends with Brian Kenny. Great guy. I've been friends with him for about 20 years, so he's great, and that network's great. And congratulations to you. You ever pinch yourself and say, wow, it's amazing what has happened here and what's in your future? So congratulations on that and continued success.
Thank you. Yeah, I pinch myself every morning because this is honestly like a dream job, and not even a job that I'd ever imagine I'd have, but I know it's a lot of other people's dream jobs, and it's just I'm so grateful to be in this growing industry and to also work from home too, which is awesome because I get to spend time with my family in my brand new home and lovely Las Vegas.
Oh, great. Do you, let me ask you, because you do something that a lot of people don't do. You give out picks on Twitter constantly, which leaves you open to a lot of criticism. And it's tough. Listen, I do, during football season, I do about 5 to 7 shows a week, and everyone wants a game. Everyone wants some advice. And it's tough to do because they only remember the winner, the losers never remember the winners. It really is. It's such a tough thing to do, but you do it all the time. How do you handle the critics or the criticism? Do you just ignore them and just go over it? The best thing to do is not even go back at them. And my opinion, but I don't know. How do you handle it?
Exactly. So the mute button is an awesome feature on Twitter. So I've muted a lot of users that I've noticed constantly comment negatively. So that really helps. And also, like when I first started, in the gambling Twitter space and posted my picks, I would have people, tell me that they're tailing my picks, and I was so nervous, just sweating out all these games, not even for my bets, but for the people that were following me. But now it's like, okay, gambling Twitter is established enough, and all these personalities are established enough to where it's like tail at your own risk. So I don't sweat it out as much. Everyone has to do their own research, and I always let people know, like, you have to do your own research as much as work as I put into this. Like, you have to put in some work as well. And sometimes I go on a cold streak, and I let it be known too that sometimes I'm cold, or oh, maybe this was a dumb bet, or maybe it was too square. So I'm like always real with people. So it doesn't hit as hard when I lose and other people lose, tailing my picks as well. So always got to be real with everyone.
Well, that was my next thing, and you just hit on it, because just to let everyone know, you are very transparent, and that's what I believe. Me and my team at Crack Wins, we're very transparent with a weekly write-up with every single losing week or winning week. Of course, we've had much more winning weeks and winning months than losing, but I'm transparent also on losing weeks. I noticed you also are. What do you do? How do you come up with your games? Research, talking to others. How do you come up with your games that you give out every day?
So, I mean, it really depends on the sport, but every single season is different. Every single season in whatever it is, MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL, I feel like I learn more every season. I've learned from my mistakes from the past season and make sure not to do that. I mean, like, it's just so basic, but like NFL and weather or MLB and weather, you never really think about that stuff. Like indoor, outdoor games, home road splits, those all kind of matter. So I look at these games and matchups from a lot of different points. So I'm confident when I give these picks out. But yeah, there's just like a ton of time that goes into it. And I don't know how you guys do it, because you guys do it every single day. I feel like you guys never really have a day off. I do, and I take vacations, and I always give myself like a mental health break every single week and just stay off social media. I don't watch sports for 2 days on my days off. So it's really important to give yourself a break in this industry.
Yeah, you're right. You bring up a good point. I do this every day, and I do this for a living, betting sports and trying to get down. Yesterday, I was down at the Golden Nugget trying to bet some games of the year, and the frustration you have of trying to get down. And then when I walked in the Golden Nugget yesterday, I haven't been there in about a year, and they immediately turned different colors, and they just like, I'm trying to steal if I'm there, but I'm just betting because they put up such good opportunities that some places didn't put up this year. So props to the Golden Nugget for that. It's a tough business when you have someone not betting two-way action on a lot of things. So I kind of get it, but that's what I do. My stuff's all back tested, researched, and we deal with analytics and so much of so many different, depending on the sport, the model and propositions. It's never a day off. So I like what you just said. That's really a good idea, actually. The summer I'm a little bit slower, but during football season, I somehow get through it doing the shows and giving out picks. I like the idea you stay off for 2 days. That is really something that sounds healthy, and I may invest in that, because I do check Twitter like once a day, and that's a slow day. But like yesterday, I was down and I filmed a video down at the Golden Nugget that got a lot of video, like 35,000 views already. But people love that too. People love when you're relative to them. So
yes.
Now I get excited, and I'm checking in the morning and seeing what's going on. So it's good to take that mental break, though. Good deal.
Well, Crack, this has been a lot of great information you've given as always, which makes me remind everyone that it's time to download the Crack Wins app. If you haven't done so already, it's on Apple, it's on Google Play. You can just go to crackwins.com. This man's got the wisdom and the picks. What are you guys waiting for? Make some money, right, Crack?
Yeah, we have now we're doing a plethora of things in the off season. Really, NASCAR matchups every week. We have a really good some good information there. Golf matchups, baseball. we're going to be getting into the NBA Summer League here after the regular season ends here, and there's we're still doing some playoff props in NBA, and there's so many things going on year round. So make sure you join us on crackwins.com and the Crackwins app.
The WSN.com articles, Crack. I actually went over there. I was looking at some horse racing stuff. It blows me away the amount of writers. I don't know how many people are contributing to the site, but it really is deep with all sports.
Yeah, I don't know another site that has so many. I would think they have to be freelancers, which is great. They do great stuff, and not only articles on. I'm reading the horse racing one because the Belmont Stakes is this week, so it's a big thing for people. But also the Canadian Open predictions, articles on the NBA. Of course, you have the MLB, tons of stuff on MLB. But what I like is the bonus selections. And there's an article on the front page about NBA bonus codes and betting. And there's some really good opportunities here. If you guys haven't signed up yet with some of these sports books, WSN negotiates some unbelievable deals for their viewers. And, you can go on to there's a couple different ways to go on to WSN for the bonuses. You can go the state-by-state guide where you can just click on your state and see what's available there. And there's also just another whole area on the site just for bonuses in general, sports books. And the best ones, it says it's state guides, bonuses. There's so many different ways to get to this. But you're going to see the bonuses that they have on there. They've negotiated better bonuses than you just Googling a site in your state and getting the bonus that's offered to you. So make sure you go through WSN for all your bonuses and all your information, WSN.com. John, what do you have for Minty?
Well, Minty, there's a huge UFC card this weekend, and I was wondering what's your take on any of the fights coming up. Obviously, there's a huge rematch with Joanna. I was actually at the first fight, one of the best fights I think I've ever seen in person. What are your thoughts on this week's card?
Yeah, that was honestly one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. But I've only got a pick for the main event, which is Jiří Procházka versus Glover Teixeira. It's a light heavyweight title bout. We see the defending champion Glover Teixeira as the underdog here because he's up there in age. He's 42, but he does well in this underdog role. And we see it in sports all the time, especially in combat sports, that age kind of does matter. I mean, your gas tank runs out fast, your past injuries pose a threat, and you're slower than you once were. Not saying that Teixeira is a bad fighter in any way, but Jiří is just a really dangerous fighter, and he finishes opponents really early with all of his victories coming by knockout or TKO, even before entering the third round. But I hesitate to bet on Procházka because he's a little inexperienced in the UFC and doesn't defend well against strikes. Glover's age may be a con, but his experience greatly benefits him, which is why I believe he will stretch this fight out. I don't know if it'll go all the way to 5 rounds, but I love this to go over 2.5 rounds at plus 150. And I wouldn't be surprised if Glover Teixeira wins this one as an underdog as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've learned my lesson betting against Teixeira, so I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I'm betting with the old guy like me.
Yep. It's risky, but I mean, the reward is so much sweeter when the experienced one wins.
Yeah.
Cool. Minty, what's your favorite sport? Is it UFC? Is it hockey or NBA? What's your favorite sport, or maybe even favorite sport to bet on? It could be two separate things there.
Oh yeah, favorite sport to watch and bet on is definitely the NFL. NHL is a very close second. I'll have to say NBA playoffs is super fun to watch. And MLB has to be last there because I get burnt out on MLB a lot. I mean, 162 games is just a lot to watch every day, and there's like a dozen games on every day. So although it's really nice to have on all night, it gets tiring.
Minty, I have a question. When you're obviously so knowledgeable on sports, when you meet like a group of guys the first time, you go out with some friends and you meet some new people and sports comes up and you obviously are so knowledgeable, I would imagine people are usually shocked. And I'm wondering, do you take that as is it an insult when they're so surprised that you can speak so well on so many different sports, or is it a compliment?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So when I go out with my girlfriends and like a group of guys like run into us and are like, "Oh my gosh, can we buy you a drink?" La la la. I don't ever talk about my job or sports because I work on it all day long. I don't really want to talk about it when I go out. But all my friends are always like, "Oh, she knows sports. She works for Yahoo. She's on TV." And I'm like, "Oh man, like I don't really want to talk about it." But they are very, very surprised. But for the most part, guys don't really care that I know sports. I mean, they do, but they more want to just like party with us instead. Because I mean, we're in Vegas. They don't really want to talk business and stuff. But they're always like, "What's your pick for the Super Bowl? What's your pick for today's game? What do you think about this matchup? Why?" So they are surprised, and I actually take it as a compliment. I mean, I know that women don't typically know about sports. They're just fans, if anything. But I think we're getting there. Like this day and age, a lot of women are really getting to sports and sports betting.
Yeah.
So I think it's great, and I think it's gonna be a norm soon. Maybe not like in the near future, but later on.
For sure. Bill, what made you laugh there, Bill?
Because she's so brutally honest, though, John. That's exactly what do you think these guys, these packs of wolves are coming in from out of town? They don't want to know about sports. They want to see what the girls are doing. It just made me laugh thinking about it. But she's so brutally honest. Thank you for that. Minty, where can we find you, though? Like, are you on MLB Network once a week, once a month? Are you on Yahoo or MSG once a week? Where do we find you?
Yes. So on MSG Network, of course, it's only available on the East Coast. I'm based in the West Coast. But if you can find me on MSG Networks every Monday at 5 p.m. on the Better Half Hour and on the Betting Exchange, I'm there for that whole hour. Sadly enough, this summer, we're actually taking a hiatus. So back when football season resumes, you guys can find me every Monday on MSG Network. They call it Minty Mondays. I mean, not to brag or anything, but it's kind of cute. Also on the MLB Network, it's kind of sporadic. It's usually on Wednesdays every 2 Wednesdays or so. But I'll always tweet it out. Find me on Twitter at Minty Bets and Yahoo Sportsbook as well. We have a TikTok. I create a lot of content, just trying to be funny and trying to make fun of like the casual bettors and what we go through every day. So at Yahoo Sportsbook on TikTok and Twitter is where you can find me as well.
Well, that's great. This has been real fun. We really appreciate having you on, and continued success to you, and looking forward to following you and continue to see your social media presence grow and give out some winners.
Thanks. And Bill, I have to thank you because you were one of my first followers, and I was fangirling that you were one of my first followers, and we met up and we talked sports, and I just I think you were initially like my inspiration to keep going into this industry and keep riding it. So thank you, Bill. I have to thank you.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Real nice of you. Real kind. Thanks.
Bill, having Minty on was great. I love seeing more and more. I mean, especially over the last few years, I see more and more women that are in the sports world now on the broadcasting and the analyst side, and now even the sports betting side. It's good to see, that across all sports, I've noticed there's a lot more women that know what they're talking about in sports now. It's really great.
But it's good to see if they're transparent, if they're giving out their records and not just talking about what they did lately. And I like to find out how they're coming up with their games. Do they just read a newspaper or watch TV? Or, I like to know if they talk to other people. I think it's good to talk to the sharpest minds in the world and maybe get some other analysis and stuff. And so it was interesting. It was a good time. And we hope to, maybe I'll get Ariel Epstein, her partner, on, who grew up around Yankee games in New York, and we can get her on one time too. So it was a fun time. Good opportunity for them, and good for us. Great episode.
Another great show. Bill, next week, I'm over my sickness. I won't be on location. Are we going to be reunited in the studio again, together again, like Batman and Robin next week?
Yes, we will be in studio together next week. I'm 90% sure. So good job.
All right, fantastic. We will see you next week on Wise Kracks.